never going to be a bad thing. Always the best first pick if you can get it going within this. Speaking of, take it to the field right here. Rissa just popping off right in the middle. Little Maywall up right here for the attackers are trying to fend away a lot of this initial damage. Well, Widow in the back right here. Let's take a look at this name. That is
There it is.
Jay's
There we
too
go.
sweaty. Jay's, thank you.
Jay's too sweaty.
Jay's, thank you, Coach. Big shout out to the Edge and Mo out here for making our job as I feel it's not one Widow.
That looked like it could have been, and that duel is looking important, but Daniel will find the sniper headshot from across the map, and that is as good as that means for the defense to give up that space and, you know, just kind of let it roll. So the cart is going to roll from here. Real will fire back with one of their own, so, I mean, there's still no real, like, there's not enough to make a win con here yet.
Yeah, not really. Not really. On board with Natsu right now. No life weaver access. Somebody else getting a little bit of love from the changes as their free start out maybe not as effective. And that's Jay's too sweaty winning the Widow battle yet again. Offense is slowly pushing this one along, so there has not been a definitive team fight win quite yet. A well-placed Maywall, and then this thing was just absolutely swarmed right now. Magic Turtles come back a little bit, so that's a little bit of space purchase now coming in. Here comes the ultimate. There's the, yeah, nicely done on the immortality field on the other side. Grim Shadow is also able to get out with the life.
I mean, the more important thing, you know, that was one long fight, and they basically got point out of this. Natsu is trying their best, and this is a lot of heals out of this backline of Lifeweaver and Baptiste, but, I mean, Flux, there's no lamp in sight there.
Not anymore.
He got stunned?
I think so, and now getting swarmed. Okay, so Real is back into this one. No high noon to be utilized in this next team fight. There's an immortality field invested really early.
Wow.
You're going to have to help me with this name. TNH Taliejo? Man, I'm not sure how to say that one, to be honest with you.
Looks right. I'm just going to go with TNH for the sake of
TNH sounds good.
But like, yeah, I mean, they're gonna send in the Matrix as well. They're gonna send in the Windows and Tree. I mean, the attack is just, they're gonna commit resources into this and push aggressively. They'll get the tree out of the way, but I mean, that's a big commitment for this attack.
Psy Racer with one, Real with the second right now. The first effective team fight win. I'm gonna say coming in right now. This Orisa just trying to get out, but as we know, the sustain from Orisa can be wild. Not gonna be enough this time. Magic Turtle tries to put the shell up. Not going to happen. 3:45 on the clock, so have.
Yeah, I mean, you've gotten your first third of the way, and that is at least a win con.
Yes.
I mean, more importantly for our red team, for Rogers here, you have Blizzard and you have Rush Up. They'll bring in the Torbjorn swap as well. I'm not sure. It sounds like we just kind of went to a safer pick. We're not winning the Widow duel, so we're just kind of playing a little bit more defensively. You know, you normally bring in Torbjorn versus flankers, but there's a lot of power in Torbjorn here, so I do like it.
Really is. I love the consistent willingness to be malleable within your composition. Speaking of, Grim Shadow's immortality field purchases a life yet again. Gotta say, if there's any issues here, it is not with that Baptiste. Here comes Kiriko Ultimate. Really, hey, you talked about it earlier with Maga. Just get out of dodge. Hopefully while the getting is good. Now the offense coming in with the first effective team fight win. Jay's too sweaty. Still hunting heads like he's looking to put them on top of pikes here, Soav.
They're still trying to, and the second sharpshooting from Real is looking pretty solid as well. My concern, though, for the side of Rogers is that they are, you know, they don't necessarily have a way to close the gap onto this Widow and these backline units. So it's like you have to just stay as a unit and keep pushing this. You know, kind of get yourself together to close the Sigma, and it's been very difficult to do too, especially with no ultimates online. You're just projected to lose here.
Ooh, that barely caught the Baptiste. That's going to be enough for the Baptiste. No way. Real actually gets that, and that is not even with the ultimate here either, Soav. That is everything purchased for next to nothing. I mean, the Sigma ultimate, right? The Gravitic Flux, fantastic. Yeah. The Widow ultimate, this is not exactly as effective in team fights in the future, and this is so we can call it two ultimates used, but I mean the walls, the Widowmaker ultimate.
Yeah, I mean Widow is kind of
like their own character, right? It's like go over there, find heads, use your ultimate to do so.
Yeah, you're not necessarily going to get a lot of value on this. I love this sneaky
so
look.
After being sneaky.
I love it. Rogers is going to play from behind. They're playing from behind though, right? Like you see both support ultimates up. and Real is looking for the high noon. They're trying to get Real into position. I really do kind of like this. It's cheesy, but I love this because if you play this right, you can catch advantage. This is where you would have loved to have sites, though, right? You actually kind of wish you had saved sites for this because you're like, what's going on? We're not hearing them. Where are they going? This is a great read.
There's the other shoe.
There we go. There it is.
Wall out first. Got to get this one down if you're going to get anything going. And now a huge rotation necessary after the window does come out. We're still staring down the barrel of a Southbridge squad that has a lot of ultimates, or had a lot of ultimates coming into this. Tree up. Tally field, or the amplification matrix, up. Now they're only looking at a high noon. Magic Turtle getting hyper aggressive as of right now. Natsu just trying to do what they can. Take to the skies where it's safe here, Soev. But now leaving your tank section out, not going to be ideal unless J2 Sweaty is on the prowl.
Oh, I love that. That was a great distraction and bait play, right? Because you have the Life Weaver to bail out the Sigma here. This team comp actually makes and works really well now that you've made these changes. Jay had another headshot though, just to clean it up. Looks good. I actually really do like this though, because you have the 3-man squad kind of playing in Sigma, Baptiste, and Cassidy, who are just playing as a unit. If one of them gets overrun or if one of them overextends, Natsu's there to just kind of play and contest it. TNH will bring in the Lucio, and you can see the last-minute heroes are coming in. This Blizzard needs to be huge, though, for Rogers if they're going to make it.
This is the last bastion here until be able to utilize the Kiriko ultimate. I love the Winston pick here as well. There comes the Kiriko ultimate as overtime does hit. So Winston onto a Baptiste. I know how that one's going, but now a great roll right here. Not even going to get the last couple right there. That was a fantastic attempt for the repositioning from the Life Weaver right there. Real just didn't have enough sand in the hourglass. So here comes the May ultimate now. This is going to be doing a fantastic job of sectioning all players off of point. Pirates and Rogers not done with this one quite yet. They're going to catwalk on in to the next point. 90 seconds will be their reward here, Soev.
And I mean, that reward came off of some pretty patient play, right? Daniel waited for the right moment for that Blizzard, and it paid off overall. You had 3 ultimates. Yeah, you had the advantage going into it, but realistically, just trying to make sure you got value from individual ult was the key to that. Cassie didn't, you tried to get your value on the rush, didn't quite take. You tried to get the Tor Bolt, didn't quite take. And the rest of it came the way. But Real continues to hit shots, and that's what I've been afraid of, is that this team, now at this point, really is vulnerable to Real on this Cassidy. There's a lot of these heroes that take damage to it.
You're not wrong right here. So's are going to get taken out here early. Bubble shield invested. Baptiste just still absolutely annoying. Just this Winston right here. Here comes the ultimate Primal Rage initiated, but there's not a whole lot of walls right here to get something going. You got to displace. That's fantastic. Now displacing away from this amplification matrix, but that is a very, very low Magic Turtle player as a couple of their teammates do fall. Daniel's so taken out of this one. So now, now going on over. I'm not against this. The more middle range hero.
Yeah.
The tag. Okay.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's a little late. I wish we'd kind of seen it sooner. We're in the last second.
Yeah, we are.
Mostly for speed at this point.
Yeah.
So. I mean, now it's just a question mark, is anybody there? The Lucio will touch. Karma dies with the Kitsune rush, so as far as I'm concerned, this is basically cleanup. If Karma makes it back with this rush, and Daniel makes it back with the Blizzard, though, there's a chance that Rogers holds this.
TNH putting on a clinic as far as how to stall on points as a Lucio, and now everybody here off the back of that utilization, Real and Daniel going absolutely back and forth right now, but that's going to be too much, but
no,
got interrupted in the middle of the Blizzard. Oh my God, that is so monumental here for the side of Southbridge. Kiriko ultimate has to be invested after that, and even with 4 players still managing to take picks, there's the tank kill as well. Real will not make it 12 o'clock until their next respawn, but we are overtime as of right now. Grim Shadow getting on top, investing the immortality field right here just to stall out this point a little while longer. Triple shots ringing out as they're just simply trying to find a way in edgewise or possibly a way out of dodge while the getting is good. J2 Sweaty on the Reaper right now, making this one bloom. That's a lot in the front. Everybody shall fall in front of J2 Sweaty. A well-timed Reaper change purchases this team fight for Southbridge.
The last-ditch efforts really came in there. Those last built ultimates from the side of the Suns really came through there, and that is, again, that's the discipline you need, right, to make it into those later rounds. That's a team that made it through the wild cards into it. That's a decision you have to take. Making those swaps into something that you can stall out, recognizing, look, the Reaper has lifesteal. Let's just put that out there. We can hold the point. We still have a little bit of a fade. We can keep ourselves alive. Great read, and just the acknowledgement of, look, we need to bring the fight to the point, so a great read from a team that understands what it takes to play under pressure when you're playing for wild cards, when you're playing into that playoff spot. That is a great read from them. Now, my question here is, what's going to change? Because both of these teams made quite a few adjustments as the match went on. So I am not going to say, like, nobody's really running anything back, and you can see it right across the board. We're two Zaryas. We've entirely just swapped up.
Okay.
We're in entirely different things here, and I kind of think I see what we're trying to do. I don't fully understand it. Like, the defensive here is playing the Zarya. We're trying to look for a little bit more stability. We're trying to make our tank a little bit more of a damage sponge, and we're trying to make it, a lot more punishing for that. And I like the Ana pick to go with that. Like, I do like these choices around it. It's a bit more mid-rangey, but I have to wonder versus, like, the Real on the Genji is not going to stay. He's going to immediately see all the beam and the double mid-range.
Yes.
And he's going to be like, I have nothing to do here. I'll swap. I'm curious to see what this attacking side, this blue team here, ends up doing once they see what's on the other side.
Yeah, like a lot more close range in your face here for the side of Southbridge. But hey, that's an early pick right now. And
wow.
Make it 2. There was trouble. Make it double. That's a nasty sleep onto JT Sweaty, but a Reaper's Shadow Step away, from that one being a non-issue, and this is an offense that is starting out a rolling. So
yeah, I mean, the Reaper was the kind of right lottery winner in a lot of ways, right? Like, Reaper can just eat up a lot of those heroes across from him. So Jay will be rewarded for just acknowledging that this was a good choice here.
There's the change.
I'm not. Ooh, there we go. We'll bring in the Mei and the Sombra. I'm not fully sold on that, but I do think that was a great pick from Soy, who managed to put Sombra into a great use and provides the information. I like this change a lot more. I was a little hesitant, but seeing that just isolation and pick, I like this defense from Rogers now.
Couple good packs right here. Trying to turn their attention onto the Zarya until they decide, hey, again, get out while getting is good. This is a super low magic turtle, and that shell gets cracked. Now a nasty purple right to the middle. I believe that was a... Yeah, that is the Moira over here, also getting taken out after a purple is utilized. Real going on over to the Genji, or saying on the Genji, hey, if it's working, it's working.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of damage to be had on the Genji, and you're already 72 to a blade. There's not really a defensive across from you. You've seen, you've seen a Moira, you've seen the Baptiste. I think no, the Baptiste just came in, so you think this is good. And considering the swaps that are being made, you have Transcendence, you have Blade, you're coming into Coalescence. Your tools are here for Southbridge. They just need to stop. They just need to kind of get themselves into a position to put them all here, and they'll get the point. They'll get first point for free, Tugboat.
Yeah, so this was a Rogers squad that fought tooth and nail for this. Didn't even really lose a team fight or so, right?
Yeah.
But then the other squad just kind of rolling on into this one. Here comes the freeze, but that's not going to matter when you have an ulting Zenyatta right next to you. Daniel getting super low, still managing to find their way out after Zarya ultimate does get invested. This is a back and forth brawl. I have no idea what the Mei thought that they were doing, getting back on into this one without the freeze. I don't know.
It was a tough investment. My concern for Rogers right now is that this Mei Sombra line is not a lot of damage, and Magic Turtle is going to go back to the Winston. You want Winston when there's armor across from you. You can kind of get on the Zenyatta. That is a target you can maybe get onto.
Oh yeah.
I think the DPS. I mean, Soy has been putting on work. As you can see, Soy gets the pick on the Natsu. I do like that, but I really would love to see the Soldier come back from Daniel. I would see a little more damage for the Winston to follow up onto.
It's interesting stuff, because this has been a game of early picks thus far. Let's get back into this one. That's 2 of them. Speaking of, Daniel and Soy going to take out the tank, take out a huge source of damage, and Soy may be able to purchase a little bit more on the backside. No teleporter, the Moira is going to get away. Okay, slow it down here. Taking a look at ultimates right now. Rogers only has one purely offensive ultimate as well. They are staring down the barrel of a lot more over on Southbridge, so
Yeah, I'm watching Jay here. Like, Jay got so much value on that, and now they're going to take the long flank around. I mean, if Jay doesn't come up huge, like you have both DPS ultimates up, this is just they just have to figure out how to time it and put them to use.
I do like this from Soy.
Wow.
That is fantastic. They had to have been
Wow,
tracking
great.
in some sense here, so they had to know what was staring down the other side, right? Karma's Immortality Field is going to be fantastic. It will not sustain through a Grav and a Death Blossom.
No, I mean, Grab is up, Death Blossom's up. I mean, Southridge just lost that fight with no commitment to anything, and Rogers won that with a single ultimate. That's a great investment. You'll take winning up base off of EMP. You don't really have much coming into this fight, so again, Southridge just needs to make sure they can time this. Don't overcommit because you have 4 ultimates here, but this is theirs to win, Tugboat. They just have the tools in hand.
It's just about setting up right here, and Southridge has honestly found that to be a little bit harder than it is simply said. Trying to make this over here. Do you start with Blade and then go into Grav and Blossom after that? I guess there's not quite yet. Nope. No matter. We are watching the J2 Sweaty Show. I'm happy that you guys tuned in time. This is such a bad. This is bad. There's nobody else there. It might be a certain single pick, but this is not going to be enough to stop the absolute onslaught that is the rest right here. Finds a pick, gets out, picks up a small health, but even Daniel is going to have basically a 5K to walk to get back to the rest of their squad.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's going to be time to contest based on this. There will be one last touch from Magic Turtle. I mean, ultimates are up. Primal is there, so they'll stall this out for now, but there's still a grab across from them, and the grab is going to be dangerous.
And the thing is, this is just stalling territory, right? They are not getting back, and they're not setting up to actually win a team fight. As I say that, Grim Shadow taken out right here. Magic Turtle goes forth, pushes this, gives up a little bit of yardage, but not a whole lot. Here comes the Genji Blade we've been waiting on since the very beginning of this. Real gets nothing put in their place, pat on the behind, and told to go back on to spawn room to think about their mistakes. This is a Rogers squad that is firing on all cylinders right now, Sohav.
Yeah, it looks like the Rogers squad just kind of fell into their pieces, and that's a shame because most of those, Southridge had the advantage. There was just straight up an ultimate advantage, and you initially, won the fight. You held out for the time being, but you just never really capitalized on it. The rest of them kind of went to space there. Real is going to pick up the Tracer here. I'm not. It makes sense. We're coming into last minute. Like, who are you getting onto? Everybody else from the defensive line is not getting there. Soy has their EMP up, and we saw Soy's last EMP. It was huge. If they're tracking, they'll know Natsu has them up.
No, that's a main support taken out here again as well, and early. A continuing theme throughout this. Magic Turtle is going to get a lot of ultimate farmed in the back as well. Soy super low, but does get out. Karma not so lucky. Here comes the Kiriko ultimate. Natsu gets taken out pretty much immediately after popping that one. Sire Racer also as well, and we got a pinstripe kill feed. Like, it is dressing well, Sohav.
It is. Overtime's still burning, though, and Jay holding on to the Death Blossom. That's the only ultimate on board. Daniel is coming back with a Blizzard, but it's not going to be in time, so it looks like Tugboat there'll be one last shot before this point crosses over.
Mortality Field first. Here comes the Death Blossom, and as great as the first two were, gets absolutely nothing. Punching at air, shooting at air molecules and oxygen there was J2 Sweaty. I gotta say, if there's a mental factor to this, I think that Southridge has had theirs tweaked just a little bit. Nice melee kills here, both Real and Natsu, but as this is going on, Magic Turtle immediately going to find theirs in the backside. Here comes a well-placed... Oh, so this is actually an initial miss, and then Daniel walks on top of it, so have bad beats here for the defending squad. Real still going after this and trying to find something. Here comes the Primal, might as well invest it. There's the amplification matrix as well, so he's just
Real's
trying to find a target. Real, the definition of the glass cannon in this great game of Overwatch is ignored and allowed to absolutely cook Hibachi or otherwise. There's a little bit of a stall, but this is not going to be enough from TNH unless they do the unthinkable.
No, I would rather just see the full reset here. We're going to give up the May, and the May has been kind of hit and miss for Daniel, unfortunately. Yeah, like I'm not sure. I kind of would almost want to see it come off, especially versus Real now on this Tracer. I want to see something that's going to give a little more control to that Tracer because, like you said, Real has just been lighting up the kill field. Not even a question. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I'll take the Soldier. That's a little more sustained. It's not the perfect answer, but it does allow you at least to kind of sit back and keep an eye on the Tracer. So I do like this. You can still play into the damage that Magic Turtle is, laying out. And kudos to Magic Turtle on this Winston, who's been playing into a very tough situation in the Zarya Reaper, but has been making it look really, really good.
Gotta love the healing pad that Soldier has as well. Utilizers of that could span the entire team ultimately, especially once this gets to another, what seems like guaranteed overtime. Nicely done, 2 pieces, and Rogers does it quickly. Yet again, this is a get out of dodge type situation. You want a full reset on this, and you definitely don't want to invest ultimates like that.
No, I understand what the thought was. It looked reasonable though. So I just comes with burrito to clean this up. Wow, it looked like the right call. You saw you used your own barrier. You saw the mortality field was gone. I get it. 14 seconds on the clock though. We're into the last second territory.
And the change.
Karma and TNH are coming into support ultimates. Magic Turtle has primal. Daniel hits an easy shot. This should be a stop right here.
Yeah, I mean, with this huge source of damage down, and now a main healer as well as Grim Shadow does fall. A little bit of stall action on a Natsu, but they're just not getting enough damage to reverse the outcome of this game. It is one way, but you may have wanted it the other. Goes Rogers for game numero uno. Or round, map numero uno, I should say. Excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, that was I don't think you're happy with that, though, if you're Rogers. Like, that was very close. Round 1, you almost got the complete, and you're pretty happy with that. But it was a struggle to kind of get to this point. And a lot of it is off the back of that person right there, Soy. Soy had so much work. This Sombra pick, you can tell they're comfortable with it. You can tell they put in the time to learn this. Look at how precise those shots were, how the viruses didn't miss. That's a 3-piece. That's a natural 3-piece. Normally, there's an EMP or something attached to a clip like that. But Soy on this Sombra, I agree. Like, these pieces that we've seen out of this Rogers team just look so good. That Sombra looks phenomenal. The Winston play out of Magic Turtle looked very good. There is a clear, good dive team in this squad, and I think that's where they need to kind of continue to reel that in. Play into that. That is clearly a strength for you guys, and you've got pieces for it. So just keep running that down because your opponents clearly don't know how to manage that.
We said it during, I'll reiterate it here again, the willingness to be malleable in this is really how Rogers won this game. There were a couple picks on both sides that kind of left us both scratching our heads at certain points, but hey, it got done. Most notably, I guess, Real initially, then on the Genji, then switches on over to the Tracer, but still makes it work against what, at least in the past, has been a pretty patented counter pick in the Sombra. Soy comes through and then literally decides the game after that, so it's just a whole back and forth right here all the way through. Gotta say, Magic Turtle did a great job as well of getting in the other side as a tank, especially the Winston, and getting out when they absolutely needed to. Just being able to time how much damage opponents can do to you in that couple of seconds before your jump comes back off a cooldown.
It is not an easy thing to do, and neither is our map number 2 for push. We've got New Queen Street. I actually do like this pick for the side of the Suns. If you're looking, this is not a dive map. Like, there's no real great places for, a dive team to really play from. There's no good staging areas. What there is here that plays in your favor are great alleyways and hallways for a Tracer to move in and out of, though. So I'm really going to be watching the Real versus Soy matchup here, because these are going to be two flankers that likely will cross paths a lot if they are watching all these different off angles on New Queen Street.
Yeah, and angles is going to be such a, I mean, it always is a really big win map altering effect right here, and whichever team does pay attention to that, I really think we'll come out on top. I think it's so indicative, right, of like learning members as well on both sides right here. Just what we talked about, malleable, this is like the other side of that as well, right? Realizing not just picks, but like the categorical change sometimes that is required, especially when you change up that tank line, right? And I mean, name a bigger one from Winston to Zarya, from map to map, especially offense to defense here. So,
oh, 1,000%. Like, they're the three kind of archetypal comps. You know, your dive comps, your team that just kind of swarm in out of the blue on somebody, versus your rush comps, your brawl comps, which are just, you know, your death ball, your 5-man just running at something, versus your poke comps, where your snipers, you have to watch, you can't keep your head out. Knowing what composition you are playing into and what your opponent is trying to do to counter that really does make the difference for these teams, especially here in week 3. This is that point where you have to start kind of coming to, you know, setting your own compositions and plans into kind of stone, preparing them for playoffs and preparing them, and you got to kind of start locking things into place if you are both of these teams. And Rogers just looks like they've kind of got a little bit of a lead in that regard.
Yeah, I think a mild part of it would be compositions they have practiced, been very comfortable with on before. I think part of it is the success that Southridge had earlier. It might be one of those things like, oh, well, don't fix it if it ain't broke, but game changes, metas change, updates come in to this great game from Blizzard and whatnot, and these mild changes can sometimes snowball into massive differences here. New Queen Street starting in just a couple of seconds, so Ev, what can we expect as far as the tank lineups?
So if I had to guess, Rogers over on red side is probably not changing anything. Like you had mentioned, changes come through. Winston was one of those recipients of those changes. Winston got a huge buff versus armored units, and that is a great thing. Pair that with a Sombra who can move quickly with him, and I think you have at least a 2-man hit squad that can kind of move around the map pretty effectively. I do see them maybe going back to the Orisa or the Sigma, kind of maybe just thinking, well, there's not high ground to contest. Let's hold on that. But I do think that that lineup looks great. Like Magic Turtle is clearly a very good Winston player. TNH looked great on the Lucio. Phenomenal. Just keeping out of the way but providing support to the team was very good. And I do think that's a great lead. On the other side, I don't know, man. The Zenyatta into this comp is very Zenyatta Moira is a very interesting backline. I'm not sold on it. Zenyatta is very fragile, and there's no one really to protect him. The Mei out of Real, I understand what we're going for. We're going to brawl. We're going to kind of run. We're going to run at things. We're going to run with Mei, Orisa, and Reaper, and
right?
Yeah, but I'm not sold on it. Not with this Zen kind of hanging back. He is very supportive, but Discord has value, but I'm not sold on it.
Yeah, and there's no burst healing here really as well, just the consistent healing coming out from Grim Shadow. I think we see that first. Middle range damage this time could very easily be, a headshot from Karma, could very easily be Daniel, just running it down the back and flanking as these Reapers do. Little Reaper on Reaper action as Jay doesn't like the look of it, misses a couple of shots, but Daniel's going to be the one now retreating here. So J2 Sweaty loved this. Now getting a little bit of love from the teammates, but Real going down here means the stopping power of the Southbridge squad is going to be significantly reduced coming into the last. This is a definitive win for the Pirates, even though they didn't take on a whole lot of players as they move this robot down the streets of New Queens.
Yeah, the harder part here is going to be buying for the position versus this brawl comp. I mean, Seracer really does go low there, and Karma will get the early immortality field out of the way. They'll come into all of their ults faster here for the side of Rogers, so, I mean, they should just be able to throw it, and Soy's going to throw in those rails immediately, too.
Yeah, that's some really well-placed healing right here. Now leave the small health pack for a couple of teammates. This is the composition that I like to see. Natsu, Grimshat, Natsu on the...
Yeah.
Natsu on the Baptiste and
Grim
Shadow right here, but now that's two. J2 Sweaty trying to get into position here, knowing there's no bubble left. Get into the bubble, break it in, that is your reward. Crack the egg, find the yolk. Chasing it down this Winston right now, not gonna decide that one is worth it. Just hang it on the corner and let J2 Sweaty jump anybody who comes across right here. Robot now running down the other way. This is a back and forth we go, but 36 meters is easier said than done.
It was a high-value ultimate for that Death Blossom. You have Blizzard up from Real, so that's your kind of win con if you are the side of Southridge. I'm not fully sold versus, the 3 ultimates across from you, especially when Soy hits it.
Oh, that's not good. Unideal jump right here, can't quite get over that. I think might have mistimed the Maywall just a couple of seconds thinking about when it was going, but doesn't matter. Southridge taking out a couple of Magic Turtles teammates right here. We got a glowing red squad almost entirely. Here comes the Primal Rage, hitting players around, but that's not going to have anywhere near as much of an effect against an Orisa and a Reaper that is just absolutely going down. Here comes Death Blossom of their own. A distraction, perhaps? A distraction the whole time? Maybe that's what Magic Turtle was looking at. Still alive right here and just trying to get back to Karma.
It's been a trade of ultimates for the most part, but not, nothing really finding the value of it. And Southridge will eventually catch out. They'll have 5 ultimates up. I mean, they should be able to take this. Just not overcommit. Soy is coming into rails. You just have to get past the 1 sound barrier. There's 1 defensive in your way. Just don't overcommit or don't die with your ultimate too.
But they have it now as well, like you were just saying, right? And normally this works, but when you see that you're that low and you see the Winston on the other side being supported by a conglomerate right here, verifiable Congress or verifiable Congress? Yeah, that makes sense. We'll go with it. The verifiable Congress of players getting damage onto you as well. You just got to realize when you bit off more, then you can chew. Daniel falling to the May as well. Southridge going to be running it down in just a second.
And it was a little bit of a commitment of those ultimates as well. Magic Turtle will make the swap to the Zarya, and you know, we saw this out of Magic Turtle before. I'm not really sold on it. The Winston is like getting off the Winston feels right here, and the early Amp Matrix just Natsu's so aggressive on this Baptiste, and he's been rewarded for it. But I want to see, you know, I need to see the team follow up on this.
Here comes the Kiriko ultimate. Things are about to get spicy. J2 Sweaty, a guarantee, is looking for it right now, but with SI Racer down, this might be a get out while you can, and it is.
Okay.
My goodness. If we are simply talking about definitive team wins, Soav, you cannot have that conversation without Rogers in the noun part of that sentence.
Oh, absolutely. Rogers has absolutely been very definitive in closing out their fights, and that's what's worked in their favor, is that Southridge just kind of let stragglers hang around and kind of extend these fights a lot longer, and Rogers just make sure they get completions. I wasn't sold on this Magic Turtle Zarya, but they have put in a ton of work, you know, for cleaning up for that, and they're playing as a good unit here. Oh, great combo.
Nice pull-in. How much will they get for it? Cyracer does fall within this, so tank down isn't great, but Daniel and Soy by themselves, this is not enough sustain for the side of Rogers. Southbridge has purchased this team fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be the case. It's 2 ultimates committed. You got at least 1 pick out of it. The pendulum's gonna swing back though, Tugboat, and I mean, Natsu's gonna try to stall that as best they can, finding Soy. But I mean, ultimates are wow. Those are some late staggers, unfortunately. So Roger's gonna have to take even longer to regroup here, and they just have to get these ultimates online. There's nothing defensive across from them. Getting past Immortality Field is their hardest point, but like Death Blossom's up, Grab is gonna be up. They just need to play as a full unit in this Death Ball comp and this Brawl comp.
Absolutely. Avoiding the early picks will be Primo. His ensuing team fights. Magic Turtle just farming ultimate right now onto this Arista on the other side. They have to know, if they didn't before, they have to track that now. Immortality Field out. This is fantastic. This is go time for Magic Turtle. Here comes the ultimate. Now the grab lands. You're not even going to need it on the other side, are you? Trying to get out. There's the sound barrier. Oh, it should have. They have elongated this team fight out so much that Daniel can't even use that. Magic Turtle's grab is a thing of the past, and nobody's really followed until Cyracer, but that is brutal for the side of Southridge. Here comes the Coalescence. Will this be enough, as it is continued right here? And even through all of that, Southridge stays alive.
I mean, you could see it. Daniel, for those brief moments we passed him, was trying to find a position of where to put this Death Blossom in the way, and it's just unfortunately never came to. They'll have the next fight with 3 ultimates. Natsu again just ends in these aggressive positions, usually finding value, but it looks like they will punish at least Grim this time for it. So, I mean, man, 3 ultimates up. You have Death Blossom still. Soy dies again, unfortunately. But Death Blossom, Karma, you don't even need like all of these ultimates to win. If you are Rogers, just commit 1 or 2 of these ults at a time and layer them out, and you should be able to keep this at mid with 3 minutes on the clock.
That's the other big point of contention here, and the topic of conversation that we should discuss is the segmenting out of ultimates. We saw it almost come out too slow from Rogers here earlier.
Yeah.
The same mistake guaranteed not to be made, and hey, Magic Turtle's already back at 85 right now. There's Daniel finding everything by themselves, takes out their counterpart on the backside, and gets assistance from Soy. The Sojourn ultimate not even necessary right there. That's literally what we're talking about. That's what Soy and I have been talking about right here. When you realize you get everything in a bag of chips from the one thing, don't look the gift horse in the mouth. Hold on to these ultimates, people.
Yeah, you'd love to layer those out, especially with a solid shooter like Soy. Something like Rails in that case could just absolutely be a difference maker, considering you only have this Kitsune Rush and a Graviton Surge. Like, there's a lot of damage there. It's not enough to pair in, and there are 3-4 ultimates across from you. 2 of them could be used defensively here. It's now a tougher point, and I mean, Rogers barely takes the lead here. They barely take the lead here.
I have 100%. Oh, that is. Oh my God, you're right. What?
Wow.
0.37 meters. But this is a
oh wow,
nicely done from Southridge right here.
Yeah, it was just pull and shoot. Like, that was beautiful.
Yep, quite literally. Pull. They shoot the clay
pigeon out.
Yeah.
No, that was it. They just continue to set Jay up for this great success, these great highlight reel clips on this Reaper, and that's good teamwork though. That's teamwork that gets you on and gets you there. So there'll be one more fight here pulling in before. Ooh, good shot though.
Natsu taken out. Natsu's Immortality Field taken out. Grim Shadow down. There are no healers on the side of the Southbridge squad right now. All of the yardage, all of the distance, all of the mileage they just purchased on that previous team fight is going to be null and void, even with losing a couple of players right here. That's Magic Turtle taken out to J2 Sweaty. J2 Sweaty turned attention to their counterpart immediately beforehand, but now, especially given that Rogers' members can get out here really quick, as long as TNH can catch that shortcut right here, they should be able to get with the rest. Do you like the Ana change? I like this.
I liked it. I wish I had seen it a little while ago.
Yeah,
you know, we're into the last minute of push here, so this is like high burst healing. Seems good. You have Graviton Surge. You're coming into you're coming into several ultimates for Rogers. They are ready to close this out, and they have lead here. They just need to not fall like that.
Yeah, Amp Matrix out. Real catches one as the TNH playing on the Ana was simply just trying to get back with their squad. I think Rogers has realized that this is lost. Yeah, and so remaining members just turn and tail.
Sure, I like that. I will respect that. You, if you're Southridge here, like this is a tough spot. You're playing. You have to win at least 2 fights here to close this out, and you only have Grim Shadow, who unfortunately just falls there. That was your ultimate on board. I mean, if Rogers is paying attention, this is your go button. You need to get on the team. You have Kitsune Rush. You have Death Blossom. Spend them. Win.
And there's the anti on the backside as well. TNH not only saves their Reaper,
no
not only
way.
saves Daniel. What did SI Racer just do? Crazy stuff right there, but this is still going on. SI Racer is super low, can't get through this one. Karma has won it, and that's, oh no, a little bit of stall, excuse me. It's a little bit of stall. Here comes the Coalescence, looking for a couple of shots on top. That's 2 super low characters, but not going to be able to get through this one. I believe that's real. Yes, it is on the Soldier 76. Just literally like about facing over and over again. They're going to have to get a little bit farther, but that is it. And Rogers now staying perfect on the season here. So I have 3-0.
Hey, you love that. That's what you're looking for if you're Rogers. I mean, going up 3-0 here, going into the mid of the season like that, that's all the best thing you could ask for. Jay will have to settle for the consolation play of the game, but I think if you are Rogers, like, you're very happy with that. That was a pretty good showing from the 3-0. Maybe a little closer than you would have really liked it to be in some regards, but all things considered, you know, if we're talking about these 2 middle-of-the-pack level teams, you know, that might be fighting in for these kinds of wild card spots or, like, you know, 7th, 8th place down the line, knowing you can win a matchup like this really is important, especially for a team like Rogers.
Yeah, and Southridge on the other side, now dropping to 1 and 2, should realize that there was just a couple of differences that changed, especially this most recent push game, into a tying factor, and then us going into that hybrid shortly thereafter here for week 3. But really, I mean, just even on the play of the game right there, Winston pulls Bubble back a little bit, and really just the idea is not doing it when you have a wall to your back, because you know, with that bubble you're purchasing your teammates a little bit of space to get away from such a definitive ultimate that will clear out an entire freaking team like Death Blossom. This Overwatch match, both maps here, were decided wholeheartedly by the attacking heroes. Yes, the tanks did a fantastic job, healers keeping everybody alive within their respective, but between the Soy Sombra earlier and both of these Reapers, that was J2 Sweaty, and I believe that was Soy, right? No, it was Daniel.
Soy was also,
sorry
Daniel
about that.
was on the Reaper on the side.
Right here.
Game too.
So, absolutely love this. Would have loved to see a lot more of it, a little bit closer, had this been a tying factor, and that really, really is within a close margin. So.
Oh yeah, I think both teams definitely have, you know, like a lot to look at. This is good footage to look back, and I think, you know, kind of bringing it all and tying it together for the season, you know, this is one of those things you have to kind of look again. What worked well? What do we need to remember worked? What can we keep in our pockets for those moments? Because we saw players like Real, who, you know, absolutely was a shining star on that Tracer. Absolutely looked phenomenal in the game. Never them again, unfortunately. And I understand, you know, you're bearing down a Zarya, you're bearing down some Beam heroes. It's not the greatest pick, but I think you really kind of got to start acknowledging, all right, who can we look on to carry? Who can we look on to lead us? And how can we support them? Because now, next week's week 4, we're already halfway through the season. Like, you got to start finalizing those plans going into playoff time.
100%. For the side of Southridge, I think is pretty clear. If we're just, I mean, obviously an attacking character's role is to get picks. There's obviously a lot of support within that, getting the first damage, other people finishing off kills, whatever. J2 Sweaty on the Widowmaker originally was finding heads and clicking on them, and then over on the Reaper was having just as much. Not saying anything about Real, but as a May, as the Cassidy right there, I mean, just the High Noon Ultimate has transferred so much more into a zoning Ultimate, especially with the just so many ways of deleting this away, right? May walls from tanks in general, Baptiste immortality fields. There's so many ways just to make High Noon completely immaterial in ways that it wasn't necessarily in Overwatch 1.
All right.
I think you have a fantastic point, Soav, and supporting one of these attacking heroes on either side will be a great game plan going on.
I mean, look, counterpoint. The pull at the end of that High Noon that almost got insane value. That's what I mean when I'm talking about, like, that's the support you want to give. Playing the, setting up your Cassidy, just pulling him into a moment like that can be a huge play. So finding those teamwork, like, tightening up those teamwork will go a distance.
Yeah, everything that Lifeweaver has brought with that ability, like pulling your teammates, between like fun, like toxic stuff that you can do with your teammates in quick play, and then amazing plays that almost literally found. I mean, there was 3 right there. I don't think they would have had enough time. If you had another second on top, they wouldn't have enough time to lock on the tank long enough to kill it. Blah blah blah. Still would have been amazing. It still would have been a completely like
been a good play.
Team fight shifting play right there, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been fantastic. Love what Lifeweaver just ability wise has brought into this as well. If you haven't been saved after getting booped off by a Lifeweaver that notices in time, your life will change. Your life will change right there, guys. But that is going to be a 2-0 here for the side of Rogers High School. That's the Pirates out of Spokane, Washington. I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor here on the day. That is Seattle Built PCs, of course. Ultimate performance, one-of-a-kind aesthetics, and, of course, while retaining that small business value, folks, if you're in the Seattle area, specifically Washington in general, or really within the lower 48, I believe, because I do believe they work with all states here down, possibly Alaska and Hawaii, not 100% sure, don't want to say one or another, but, guys, if you want to get kind of an insight how to get this PC hardware built and ready for you, go forwards with an esports, whatever it is that you're doing with it, Seattle Built PCs will be the way. That's going to be about it, though. Reach my least favorite part of any broadcast, so that, of course, is the end. I'm FBI Tugboat.
It's only a week. It's only a week, Tugboat. We'll make it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll make it to week 4. We'll be okay.
Gotcha. Folks, if you enjoyed what you heard, WSSEA over there on Twitter, Instagram, everything else, follow them away. Follow us as well as us casters. And I want to give a shout out, of course, to the production members that make this possible on the day. That is The Edge and Mo, or Ian and Taylor. Big shout out to you guys making our jobs as casters that much easier. So do we have anything else for the good people before we bid them adieu for 1 week? And while saying, of course, that there is Street Fighter 4 at 6 p.m. Street Fighter 6 at 4 p.m. tomorrow, right there. No, we're not playing Street Fighter 4 anymore, folks. Sorry to say.
That's too old. Yeah, no, you got the last thing I wanted to say is just come back tomorrow for Street Fighter 6 and enjoy the long weekend, because use that time, get your grind on, and we'll see you. Well, I can't wait to see what these kids bring next week.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next week.